All right, I'm Richard, and I wanted to speak about one of our system administration files today. I'm going to talk about the layouts file, which is not a file that you're normally going to be using. It's usually hidden, but I want you to know that it is customizable. The library file allows you to customize your buttons, the large buttons that show at the top of the screen here, the two rows, the previous and the next, and also the buttons at the bottom of the screen too, previous and next. So I'm going to show you in a minute, but I want you to know those two rows of buttons can be customized for navigation. You cannot change these. These are hardwired. Okay, but these are all based on scripts and portals and stuff that you may or may not know about in FileMaker. In order to customize this, you're going to need to know a little more about FileMaker Pro, but it is doable. If you wanted to change the structure of the way these are laid out, you can do so. We have thought it out in the best way we think it should be used, and all the tutorials will go around about how they're set up now, so keep that in mind if you decide to change them. If you decide to customize this down the road, I would wait a few months that you've really familiarized yourself with the system before you experiment with it. And if you decide to do so, I would create a separate folder and play around with it. You could actually experiment, not on your main set of files, but a backup set of files that you could play with until you know you're confident of what you're doing and see how it works for you. But it's a very powerful feature that you could take advantage of it whenever you need to. All right. In order to get over to the layout file, go up to the window menu. This is one of the files that is not button driven, so we're going to choose from Show Window, Layouts. And that'll bring the file up. You can set it to whatever size you want at the bottom here with the plus buttons. You can also click the little status bar menu at the bottom, which allows you to see the actual status bar. This is an exception where you may want to show this. Notice there's 77 records in there. We're looking at the people file records now. This file comes preset for one user, and this is the first user's number. And if you looked at the password file, system administration tutorial, you'll see that it explained the 001 as the first user. So all these records in here have 001. If I go through these, you see the 01 stays the same. Okay, now that's the user ID. Now this is the layout number. And these two fields are put together in a calculation, 115001, that creates a match. So it knows how to find that button and knows how to display it correctly. Also, through script control, it knows when you click the people button to run the people script, or when you click the home base button to run the home base script, so that navigation will be correct. That is not something you need to think about as long as you put in one of the buttons in that are available to you in this list. It shows you the name of the file here and also here, and then next to that is the name of the layout that's numbered here. So this is the file name and then the layout name in quotes, so that as you click through, you can find them different. You'll see these are different layouts in the people file. So let's go to the Songtrack details layout. Let's talk about that one. For example, we click this. The first button, 01, is people, which is the way it shows up here, button 1. And number 2 is contracts, button ID 2. Now the numbers it's not button 02, but you can change any one of these pop-ups to change buttons. Now, be sure you know what you're doing before you do this, but it is doable. So as I go down, you're seeing the difference. So here's royalties. So let's say, for an example, we wanted royalties to be first and people to be fifth. Now, I don't know why you would do that, but it is customizable that way. So I'm choosing button 1 here. Now I have 2 button 1s. We'll show you. If we click to go over to the people file, We'll click the previous. Notice now there's 2 people buttons. And when I click this, it goes to people. It stays in people. So it's on the previous line of buttons. All right, so now I'm going to hide this by clicking the hide button at the bottom. That'll hide this window, and we're back to where we were. Now here, I'm going to change this back because we really don't want the people button to be number 5 in most instances. So I'm going to change it back to royalties. But on a certain screen, you may say, hey, we want to change this one button, or we're going to take 2 buttons off that we never use. That is doable. Keep in mind, this is the previous row, and this is the next row. So in the top of the window, you'll see 1 row shown of 13 buttons. If you click previous or next, it goes to the other 13 buttons. So you get a total of 26 buttons. Notice you got button ID 26 here, which should always stay button next and button previous. Don't change those. I don't recommend that because you won't be able to get to the other row of buttons if you do that. Now over here, we have what we call shortcut buttons or shortcut rows. These are the buttons that appear at the bottom, not on this screen, but on other screens. There's 13 buttons that go across the bottom for like FileMaker Help, Omit Records, things like that. Show Records, Show All. So we have them preset for you. But you can modify those if you find certain ones you want to try. Again, wait till you know the system better before you attempt this. But I wanted you to know about this feature. Now, keep in mind, you got to make sure you find the right layout. Because if you're changing the button and you think you're on the right layout, but you go back over to people and the buttons aren't changing, well, you've done something wrong. So you'll want to check the layout name, view, go to layout, and make sure you have the right layout name, data entry, long list, ST details, Songtracker details. See that? Songtracker promo eval, for example. Okay, so that's important that you know what layout you want to change, get the name, and then you go over to here and make sure you have it matched here. If not, just click through them. You could do a find for it also. Just by clicking or choosing view find mode. You can also do it down here. Choose find. And then type in people dash quote ST detail. Hit enter or return, and it locates that one record. See, now we're just in one record. I can't go anywhere. So that should be able to give you an idea how to do that. There's a duplicate the current record button. If you're customizing down the road and you're adding new layouts, then you'd want to take a unique number that has never been used. That would get a little more difficult because you're not only going to have to do that, but you're also going to have to make sure all the scripts are correct, etc. So it gets a little hairier if you're adding your own layouts, but it's doable depending how well you know FileMaker. You'll have to research some of it. But if you're just changing the layouts we have, you can change a button here or there if you like. Make sure you realize what row you're looking at before you mess with it. And if for some reason a button doesn't change after you've done all your button changes, just quit the files and reopen them, and then you'll see the button changes. Sometimes it has to reinitiate itself. But that's a powerful feature if you ever decide or you have a need for that. We hope that feature is helpful. We love that feature, and it helped us be able to customize the look of Songtracker and allows you to customize it too for your individual office. Thanks for listening.